Hey everyone, it's Saruke, and today I'm going to be sharing my art supplies as of this year. Last year I was really bad about doing hauls and stuff, so I've actually accumulated quite a few things that I haven't properly shared with you guys. And it's been about a year since I did my last art supply / what I use video, so I figured it was time to do a new one. I did clean out a lot of stuff too during December, January, so. Anyway, I'm going to start with paper, and you're going to get a clip here because I forgot that I have big things, and this was a hindsight thing. Two of them are Corel paper. One is regular sketch paper. The Hanemüller one is definitely my thickest, roughest watercolor paper I've ever had. It is like drawing on cardboard. The Fabriano paper, the red sketch pad, I actually used that paper to make my smaller sketchbooks. Moving on, we have my slightly smaller art supplies or papers. This is probably one of my favorite or my most used paper. Mostly because you can buy them in 100 packs and get a great value for them. It's the Canson Montwell 200 grams watercolor paper. It's cold press with a fine grain. It's slightly larger than A4. I like it a lot. It's great for fairly dry watercoloring. It doesn't take a lot of water, so if you like wet on wet techniques and stuff like that, it's not really that great for it, but if you use very minimal water, I like it lots. Next, we have probably my second favorite. This was a new thing I found over at Pen Store. It's the Viking watercolor paper, and the cover is pearlescent. This is the Iris edition. They have a Berserker edition too. Now I can't for the life of me remember the difference, but this is 310 gram paper. It's A4 in size. It's 50% cotton, 50% cellulose. I actually like this a lot too. This one has a very smooth finish, so it makes really nice illustrations. I like it. Next is this, which feels at least ridiculously precious. It's Arches watercolor paper. It's the hot press. I don't know about the finish. It does say satin grain, but yeah, it's smooth. It's 300 grams, slightly larger than A4. Not the biggest fan, but that's mostly because it's not like white, it's more cream colored, and I have trouble dealing with that. It's very nice paper though. I understand why so many people like it. Then I have this thing, which is the Van Gogh, or Royal Talons Van Gogh watercolor paper. Fine grain, it's 100% cellulose, 300 grams. It's slightly larger than A5, like that. I haven't painted too much on it. It feels like a very medium quality paper. Not too bad, but also not super amazing. Then I have some homemades as well, and these are just the papers you've already seen. So like this small one here, obviously from the black lines you can see that it's Arches. So yeah, just some homemade watercolor pads in smaller sizes because I find myself being lazy and not like cutting down my paper, so I made some smaller blocks so I can just sit down and pick out a block in a correct size. Then I have two drawing pads. This one is Canson XL Recycle. I mostly use this when I want to do like pencil drawings and stuff like that. Not watercolor media, basically. I have used it for some gouache stuff too. And then I have this, which is my tried and true Bunger sketch pad. It's, I don't know, 110 gram paper, so it's slightly thicker. I also have done some studies in here. But this is super smooth, and it has a very cold tint to it, like it's very white, very white. So it's great for marker stuff. And before we move on to not paper things, I'd just like to share my strange addiction, if it can be called that, but I have a very serious problem with sketchbooks. These are all the sketchbooks I have as of right now that aren't being used. I have these two tiny ones up top. The rest are about the same size. We can see I favor a very specific size sketchbooks, and it's about A5 size that I like the best. These two are by Tilda. They have a cream colored paper. If you've been with the channel for a long time, you know I used these a lot in the beginning. This tiny one I have drawn a bit in, but I've just kind of fallen out of love with these, and I don't use them that much anymore. It's really nice sketching paper though. It holds like color and inking well. Doesn't bleed too much if you aren't too heavy-handed. Then we have this one here, which is by Paper Waste. I got this in a mystery bag from Pen Store. So yeah, the paper feels really nice. It's like smooth, but with a slight tooth to it. It could be really fun to use. And then we have all of, let's start with these two because these are handmade. I've bound these myself, bound and cut the paper myself, everything. These were made with the paper you saw before from the big pad. The big red pad is Fabriano something or other, and they're both made with that paper. So yeah. So there you have it. And this is just a blank sketchbook with bleached paper. I haven't noticed it lays flat. That's nice. But it's very thin. So I think I could only like sketch on one side. It definitely feels like printer paper, max 90 grams. But it's got a hardbound back. It's very pretty. It's pretty. Okay, I wanted it because it's pretty. This one is definitely Flying Tiger. I had big plans for this, but I never got anywhere. This is also like a sketchbook, slightly thinner paper. It does have a more thicker feel than the other one, but it has a bit of texture too, and it's off-white, so yeah. And it's a landscape one. Most of my sketchbooks are portraits. These next three are Green Sisters, or yeah, Green Sisters as well. It's just different cover designs that I liked. These two have a lined thing, and this one looks like that. Paper inside is cream colored. It's pretty standard size for me. I think there's about 40 pages or something in these, which is really nice. They have a sewed spine, which I like. I prefer them to be sewn because I feel like they hold better than the ones that are stapled. And they have rounded corners too, which keeps them from getting damaged in my bag. These last, I kid you not, 6 sketchbooks are from Pangero. So there were 2 separate sets. This one, Be Your Own Kind of Beautiful with a palm leaf or something. This one has a shiny finish, more plasticky. And this one is like a metallic paper, but I don't think it sheds. No, it doesn't shed. So it's got a metallic silver. And then there are these 3. One with llamas, another one that is sort of shiny, and then a more corally copper pink glitter thing. They're all blank. I think it's off-white. Yeah, off-white paper. So yeah, I have sketchbooks to survive me an eternity. Okay, so watercolor. Watercolor is probably my biggest collection. My most favorite medium to use is probably watercolor. This first set here is Winsor & Newton Cotman, which is their student line. I have covered it in stickers from various people. The tin I got off of eBay, and inside it looks like this. On the bottom of one of the mixing wells, I've taped these, which are just color swatches for all of the colors. Here are some bigger swatches for you to have a look at. So those are the Winsor & Newton ones. My second favorite, or rather probably my favorite right now, are these, which are the Schminke Akademie colors. And they are also a student brand, but I like these a lot. I feel like the Schminke are way more vibrant than the Winsor & Newton. A lot of the Winsor & Newton colors can come off kind of not chalky, but dull. Here are the swatches for Schminke. This pan also came from eBay. I bought it together with the other one. Next we have probably the newest addition to my collection, which is the St. Petersburg White Nights, which is also a student color, I think. I'm pretty sure. The amazing thing about these is that they're sold in whole pans. The other ones are half pans, but these are whole pan watercolors, and you get so much, and it's a very fair price. You see, the colors are really brilliant. The only one I'm a little bit about is this one, which is the Cerulean Blue. It's very chalky. It has a very strange tint to it. Other than that, I really like these colors. The violet is absolutely beautiful. The emerald green, the ruby, the bright blue, they're just so vibrant. Here is the swatches. You can see the Cerulean Blue is kind of weird in its composition compared to the others. This, which are the Shinhan Professional watercolors. And I bought a set of 13 tubes. So these are the colors. The only color I haven't put into a pan, because you can only fit 12 half pans into these tins, is the white one. I don't use a lot of white watercolor, very seldom that I do. So, same deal with this. I've put the swatch cards down, you can see the white is missing. And I've poured them into pans myself. I think the pans are Schminke pens, like branded Schminke pens. Pans, Schminke pens. These are also super vibrant, super colorful. Here are the bigger swatches. Then we have this, which is probably my least favorite packaging. I really don't like this white box. These are the Royal Talons Van Gogh watercolors. I don't remember exactly what the set is called, but the tin is absolutely horrible. The lid is really loose, and the pans tend to flip around if you accidentally get it upside down or something. Here are the colors. They're pretty good. They're very pastel-y, very pale colors compared to other brands I have. But yeah, so that was the Van Gogh set somewhere. But yeah, if you can hear it's kind of rattly. Next watercolor set is this one, which is my Prima Marketing Confections Pastel Dream watercolor set. This is probably the least watercolory of them all. They're very chalky paints. They're more like a hobby paint than an actual watercolor. Here are the swatches. You can see they're all very pastel-y. I feel like a lot of the really bright ones have a very chalky finish to them, but they're very pretty colors and I like them. They work really well in my bullet journal because the pigment doesn't really soak into the paper, it sort of lays on top. So I really like them for that. So that's that set. And I have this, which is a kid brand. It's Sense Pearly Watercolors. It's basically just watercolor with a metallic finish in them. Here are the swatches, very pastel. And I don't know if I can get them to, I think it blows out the camera more than anything else. But there is a little bit of silver metallic finish to all of them. Like a lot of other metallic watercolors, you kind of need to wet them and let them sit for a while before you actually use them to be able to pick up as much of the glitter as possible. Then lastly, we have a very sad palette. This is my only other tube set of watercolors. This is the Green Sisters watercolor. You get 12 tubes with 12 milliliters of color in each. A really nice range of colors, like you have yellow, you have two warm and cold of both red and blue, you have cold and warm green, then you have the basics, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, burnt umber, black, white. But this is how to tell they're cheap. I panned these, albeit a little bit quickly, but they have all cracked. The only one that sort of made it was the, I think it's the burnt sienna, but otherwise they're all just cracked, and that just shows. And every time I open this tin too, like if I smell them, I can smell that, you know, that chalky scent. And overall, I think they're easier to use if you just take them right out of the tubes. For color swatches, they look like this, and these have been swatched out of the pans. So yeah, you can see they're pretty dull, not very strong, but I think if you use them right out of the tubes, you're going to get a better color payoff because the pigment obviously hasn't dried. They do re-wet just fine though. It's just that the quality isn't very high. But they weren't expensive either, so I wasn't expecting them to be very good. So yeah, that is the saddest of the watercolors I own, and it's the last of the watercolors. Actual pan watercolors anyway. I forgot one thing. I do have a little bit of watercolor in here. This here is Schminke Hordam whatever. I don't know why I have such trouble saying that word, but this is a gold metallic paint, and I got this in the Schmincke Advents calendar. It's just gold metallic, and this here is from Andrea, or Nicole's Dreams on YouTube/Etsy. She is making watercolors now, and I managed to snag one of her many sets that she's been making as a swatch card. It's more of a novelty. I'm probably not going to use these, but I just figured I could share. Yeah, that's really the last of the actual watercolors I have. Next, we have some watercolor pencils. These are my Staedtler Carat Aquarelle pencils. This is probably my very first actual art supply. I've had these pencils for probably 15 years at this point, and they're great. These are the color swatches. So this I bought as a set of 36. They work really well as a color pencil. They're fairly soft. Next we have another water-soluble media. They are my Derwent. Oh gosh. Inktense Pencils. I'm not done. There. Oh wait, there. Those are all of them. I got a set of 72 pencils, and they've served me really well. I really like them. Biggest thing I like about them is that they're permanent. Once you wet them, you can't really lift them, and I find that very helpful for doing underpaintings for watercolor. So, I have actually 2 sheets of color swatches here. And there, I think that's all of them in frame. A lot of the pencils are much darker before you wet them. So even some of the brightest colors have a very dark tinge to them right up until you wet them with water. So next to the Schmincke and Winsor Newton watercolors, these are probably my favorite water-based medium to use. Another medium, shoot, I dropped one, I really enjoyed are these. So these are the Cuda Cig Clean Color Real Brush Pens. Wish they had a shorter name, but they don't. That's what they're called. But yeah, so this is a water-based paint marker. It's like watercolor in a pen. The brush nib is like a like a plastic nib, so you have many small, like an actual brush, many small hairs in it. And I find them very durable. There's a lot of colors to pick and choose from. Right here, you can see they're very vibrant. They do, however, they bleach very easily with sunlight. They're just really fun to work with too, because you can get really nice watercolor effect, and they dissolve really quickly and really easily in water, but still keep their vibrancy. So I like them lots. Now let me just take them away. Next, I'd like to do some gouache, and I have this one. Let's see. These are my Schmincke Academy gouache. I have a set of 7, or not set, I didn't buy them as a set. I bought them open stock. But I bought them in a color circle variant. They have a lot of videos showing you what combinations you can buy to get the best payoff. Like I have the primaries here, and then I have one color between each primary. So purple goes there, the vermilion goes there, and then the green goes between the yellow and the blue, and then I have a white. I didn't get a black because I feel like I can mix a black, considering I have a lot of contrasting colors that make dark grays and stuff. So yes, those are my Schmincke gouache. I haven't used them a lot, but what little I have used them, I like. Here is the swatch card. The white is in here, but it's very in tone with the paper. You can see a very slight shift there. They mix really well with each other. And I also have these, which are completely new to my collection. They are the PBO, the Studio Gouache by PBO. And I bought them as a set at Panjiro, mostly because I want to try a different gouache, and also because like it was a really nice set because you get black and white, you get the primaries, and then you get a yellow ochre, which I think is a very great starter kit. One thing that bothers me is that I bought these as a set, but the yellow has a different cap than the others. Like the yellow is the only one with a cap like this. I don't know why. It disturbs me. And I can't speak much for them because I don't have swatches, I haven't tried them. I need to try them, but these are very new to my collection. Let's go for some paint markers. I have Uni Posca paint markers in a variety of colors. It looks like a lot, probably is a lot. I have a lot of black and white ones in different sizes. These are acrylic markers, or acrylic paint markers, and here is my swatch card. These 3 down here are metallic. I have a bronze, a silver, and a gold. So yeah, they're shiny. One is the 3M and one is the 5M. The 5M is the bigger one. Those 2 sizes I find are the most useful. Then I have this size, which is the MR, which is like the fine liner type. It looks like this. And then this is the 1M, which goes to a very fine point. They are super opaque. I mean, even the bright colors are opaque and cover completely. I haven't done 2 layers on any of these. So just a pen I really, really like. And let's continue the trend of acrylic markers. I also have these, which are Panjiro's acrylic markers. Sort of the same deal. Shaker ball inside, you pump the tip to get the color to flow. These actually come with an extra tip, and oh gosh, sorry I bumped the camera, but this is the size of the nib. It's sort of, I think it's around the size of the 3M for the Posca marker. And that's basically it. It's an acrylic marker. Let me get my little swatch sheet. I tried to get sort of the basic colors, but then also go with colors that I didn't have. There are a lot of matte, sort of dark colors. One silvery. Not sure how well that shows up, but that one down there, silvery. And pretty much the same thing. These I feel are not quite as opaque as the Uni Posca, but they're also like a store brand pen, so I don't expect them to be as high quality as those. Okay, so next we have some color pencils that are not water soluble. These are the Faber Castell Polychromos. So here are the color swatches. All of the swatches, by the way, are done on the Canson Montval watercolor paper. So these are 1/2, and then we have the other half here. So those are the colors. It's a great color range. I really like these pencils. I've been using them in my sketchbook quite a bit. I do favor some colors of the others. I like the really bright ones, and I need to do more pencil illustrations, definitely, because I really want to utilize these pencils. Then we have some more markers. These are the Stabilo Pen 68 and Pen 88. The 68 is this one, which has the whole body colored the color of the pencil, and then these are the 88, which are fine liners. They look like this. And then these are just your regular felt tip water-based marker. I like using them in sketchbooks and in my bullet journal, in coloring books. They're really nice to use. So that's that pen. It's also one of my older art supplies. I've had it much longer than a lot of the other stuff I have now. Oh, I forgot, but here are the color swatches. Next, we have some jelly rolls, and I have a few different kinds. They're all Sakura though. They're metallics. One silver and one gold, because that's like a standard need to have, right? Then I have the Stardust, I think. I hope they're called Stardust anyway. But these are also like super metallic. They're way better than the metallics. Way stronger. And then I have, I know I called these the Midnights in a previous video, but they're actually the Moonlight Jelly Rolls, I think. They're very neon, very vibrant. And then I also have, I'm missing one. It has escaped. That one there is not a Moonlight. There we go. And these, which are the Soufflés, which is a more, they dry opaque and become very pastel-y. So, let me get my swatch. Here we go. So up top, right down to here, are the Moonlights. So you can see they're very, very bright and opaque. They're all very opaque, actually. And then from this one, no, this one, to this one, it's the Soufflé, very pastel-y. And then from this one to this one down here are the metallic, or the Stardust. So if I do, let's see, like this, maybe, you can see the metallic shining a little bit. But yeah, so those are my Sakura Jelly Rolls. I use them in my sketchbook quite a lot to add accents and stuff like that. Accents on other pieces of artwork as well. They're really nice for small details like buttons and patterns, things like that. And now we're down to kind of miscellaneous stuff. I have my highlighters. Well, not actual highlighters, but the white gel pens that I use for highlighting. I have the Sakura Jelly Roll, the traditional Jelly Roll in white. And then I also like this one, which is the Uniball Signo in white. I have the regular one and then one that is bright. Those are my favorite pens I use for highlighting. And let's go with these two before we start on the more random stuff. Brushes, because you can't do water-based media without brushes. So, a lot of my brushes are generic. These blue ones, let's see, blue ones are Panjuro branded. There we go, Panjuro branded, but they're generic brushes. These I exclusively use for acrylics. So they're my acrylic brushes. Then I have the black ones here in a few different sizes. Am I missing one? Yeah, there. I think that's all of them. And these are probably my oldest set of brushes. These are exclusively watercolor. They are generic brand, like they just have the size on them. They don't have any barcodes or anything. So they're just generic synthetic brushes. I should probably say that all of my brushes are synthetic. These are Green Sisters Green Art. I'm missing one, I think, because I think this is originally a set of 5. I do not know where the 5th one has gone. But these are just generic brushes as well. These are flat rounded. They're very soft to touch. I like them a lot. I've been using them with gouache, and I find that they're very good for that. I think they would do really well with watercolor as well. And then let's get rid of my big brushes. This is just a big wash brush. It's synthetic hair. I guess it could be like, I guess it's a 2-inch in American sizing. Elko, Germany, synthetic. It holds a lot of water, and if I paint big, it's easy to do quick water washes with it. Then I have this one. It's a Daler Rowney round, System 3, size 30, round brush. I think it's imitation squirrel, synthetic. It also holds a lot of water. Then I have these white ones. This one, Daler Rowney Graduate Brush, round number 12. And I find that this one also holds a ton of water. I really like it for washes. And then these here were a set that I bought. They are, I think they're called liner brushes. They're just really slim, thin brushes. I have a 10-0, a 3-0, a 1, and a 3. And the bottom one and the top one are called round, and the middle 2 are called spotters. So that's that. I just wanted some really small detail brushes because the smallest watercolor one I have is this one, which is a number 2. Then I have these tall brushes, or long brushes, which are easel brushes actually. I bought these to use with my gouache paints, but I don't paint at an easel, so why I should have long easel brushes, I don't know. They were pretty, I wanted them. These 3 here are generic brand. They're flat brushes in sizes 2, 8, and 12. It says squirrel on them, but obviously imitation squirrel. So yes, and then these 2, probably the most expensive brushes I've ever bought, are a number 8 and a number 12 Da Vinci Nova Synthetic. And they're very soft as well, very soft, very nice. I kind of feel like I need to get an easel just to get more use out of these. What else do we have? We have these. Let's see. This one I got in my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolor set, something like that. It's just a really tiny brush. I've never used it, like it's still glue stiff. So it's just a really tiny brush, travel size. And then this here came with the Van Gogh set. The thing about it is that you can do this, but it falls out. So if you fill that with water, it's just going to drop out. It feels kind of thin too, like there's not a lot of bristles there. And then I have water brushes. These 2 are my absolute favorites. They're the Pentel Aquash water brush. I bought this one first, which is travel size, and I really like it. It's so tiny and cute, but the thing is you can put the cap on the end and it's about the same length as that one, which is great. The brush on this one is broad. It's great for travel because it's tiny. And then I felt like I wanted a thinner one, so I got this, which is the, I think, fine. There are a couple of different versions, but yeah, you can see the difference there. I like them both very much. They're very soft, easy to fill up and stuff like that, so just a really great water brush. I'm just going to put the caps on so I don't put water on my desk or anything. And then I have this, a Green Sisters water brush that I just bought to try out, but I haven't tried it out yet. It has a very big brush. Doesn't quite hold its shape, but that could just be because I'm not using it. I mean, this brush is constantly wet, which is why it keeps its shape. But yeah, water brush, very simple. So that's a water brush I've been meaning to test out, but just haven't given myself the chance yet. So those are all my painting tools. Next on the long list of supplies that I have and use are my fine liners, my inking tools. Inking tools is a better term. All of the stuff I use to ink. And it's a whole bunch of different things. We start up top. I have these. Let's see if I can find them all. There we go, I think that's it. These are the Muji fine liners. They are super thin, super colorful. I like them a lot. They're more of a gel ink than an ink. So they're water soluble, which isn't too fun, but they are super fun to use in a sketchbook. They don't bleed through the paper because they more stay on top. I love the cute colors. They're so cute. My probably number 1 favorite inking supply, I think you can see it, are the Pigma Microns. I think the reason why I like them so much is that they're like easily available and they have a lot of different sizes. It's archival ink, so no acid, it won't damage the paper over time, and I just really enjoy them. For the longest time I only had like 4 sizes, which were the 005, the 2, the 4, and the 8, but I have a double of the 005 for some reason. Recently I got the 003 and the plastic nib. The plastic nib is probably my new favorite. I like it a lot. But also like just getting really thin line art with the 003 or the 005 is some of my favorite things. So those are another favorite. These are also pens that I've really enjoyed, which are the Tombow Fudenosuke, and they come in 3 variants actually. Here we go. This is the hard, the soft, and then this is a dual tip. The blue one is the hard one. It says Shikari. And this one says Nayaka. Anyway, and then this one is the dual tip or whatever. You get gray and black ink in this one. My black is almost fully used up, but I still have some gray left. The tip is soft, so Nayaka, says there on the pen. And yeah, it's just a really great pen. I like it a lot. I wish I could get the gray side in like a full size because I really enjoy it for shading. Another pen I've been enjoying recently is this one. These are the Pigma brush pens, and I have them in 3 sizes. I have them in fine brush, medium brush, and bold brush. So from big to small, like that. They're felt tip, so it's not like brush hairs or anything like that. It's just really solid black ink in these. I like the big one and the medium one for just filling out areas, and the fine one is great for line art too. I have this one here, which is a Copic multi-liner in 005. I think I got it before I was able to find the Pigma in 005. It's just a super skinny fine liner in black. I've pretty much used it up, actually. Should probably throw it away. I have this, which is the Pentel Stylo, which is also sort of a calligraphy signature pen. Has a very interesting type of nib. It's like a flat plastic bit, and then you get the ink in the center. It's just a really nice pen, and I like inking with it too. It's a very wet pen. Puts out a lot of ink. These, is it 6 or 7? Oh no, I got that one in. These 6 pens I got in my mystery bag from Pen Store, and these are Cig Millennium Fineliners, I guess. They are acid-free archival, came in an array of different colors and sizes. I have 2 03s, 102, 2 05s, and 108. And they're just really colorful liners. I enjoy using them. I mostly use them in my bullet journal, but I think I'm going to tuck 1 or 2 in my pencil case. I can take them with me and use them there. Then I have these, which I haven't gotten a lot of use out of. They're the Sig Calligraphy Pens, and obviously designed to be used for calligraphy. They all have this sort of chisel nib going on, and I thought it would be cool to ink with that for some reason. Turns out it's very hard to ink with a calligraphy pen. It's water-based dye ink, and I have the sizes 1, 2, and 3. Still experimenting with this product, sort of thing. If anything, I'm going to use them in my bullet journal. So those were all of my inking tools. I have some sketching tools. Oh, I forgot a box. Wait. So, if we can get in frame, these are some of my favorite sketching tools, or all of my favorite sketching tools. Let's start with the best part of this entire pile, which are these. They are mechanical pencils by Pilot. They're called the color NO. They have 07 colored lead in them. So the color of the pen is the color you get. I have noticed over time that they fade a lot. Some of them are very waxy. I still enjoy them a lot for the color, but the paper you use is kind of important to getting a good result with these pens. I never had trouble with them in my Tilda sketchbooks, so it's interesting that I've had so much trouble with them on other paper types. Either way, I love these pens very much. Mechanical pencils are my thing. You'll see that in a second. So this is probably my favorite sketching tools of all time. Mechanical pencils are kind of my favorite thing. This one here is my ultimate favorite pen. I've had this since I went to high school, which is more than 15 years ago. This is the Ak Chubby 10. It holds 0.5 lead. It's thick. It has a really nice rubber grip that is soft. It has a rotatable eraser up top. It's just in general a really good pen. You can't even see what it is anymore because I've used it so much. I have since tried to find replacements for it should this break. And I have the Pilot Vega, which is an 05, and I have the Faber Castell Polymatic in 07. This one I think I got in the mystery bag from Pen Store, and it's really soft. It's a super soft pen to write with. The whole grip is just this sort of velvety soft plastic. It's a little bit thin for my taste, but the grip is nice. Has a small eraser up top. This one also has a small eraser, by the way. The biggest quality of this one is that it has a rotatable eraser. And I don't know, this pink one, the Polymatic by Faber Castell, is just so soft. I love it so much. This one here is also a new favorite of mine. It's by Pilot anyway. It's an 03 lead. My favorite lead is the 05, but I gotta say the 03 is really nice too. Makes it for a really crisp line. I guess this could be classed as more of a technical pencil, like the ones architects use because of the long, thin nib. Makes it easy to use with rulers. I really like this pencil, despite it being very thin. Find it really comfortable to grip and hold. Then we have some regular old pencil here. This one is just 2H by Staedtler. And then I have this set that I bought. They're Derwent graphic pencils in a variety of sizes, from 2H to 8B. And I used these during a drawing course, so that's why I have them. It's always good to have regular pencil. Here's another sketching tool that I don't use enough, but that I really like. It is China marker. At least that's what it's called. China marker. It is a crayon that is more oil-based than waxy. It has a peel casing, so you pull the string and you peel off a layer to sort of sharpen your pencil. I have stuck these two, probably this one as well, in a sharpener after I've peeled them, which is why they have a nicer point. When you get them, they look like this one, so they're very stubby. They don't smudge. They're just really colorful. I wish I drew bigger more often, which is where I find these useful. So these were my sketching tools. Now I have one tiny, no, not tiny, I have one category left of miscellaneous things. We can start with the stuff I can't really stick in the box. I have a bunch of palettes. I have plastic palettes. Most of them are just ye old plastic palette. This here is an old plate that I'm using for my gouache. These are also gouache, I think. This one here is at the bottom has been used mostly with acrylics. I try to keep my palettes fairly clean. Yeah. So those are the palettes I use when I use gouache or acrylics. And you might have noticed you haven't seen any acrylic paint tubes. That's because I've gotten rid of them and I'm sticking to paint pens for now. Oh, and then we have this thing, which is the last glorious thing of my art collection. Everything that I couldn't really put into a category of itself. So I'm going to put this off to the side and just pick out stuff. Liquitex High Gloss Varnish. I used this to coat my acrylic paintings for a while, and I might actually just use it for my clay charms and stuff like that now. I have a bottle of masking fluid by De Laurani, and a bottle of iridescent medium by Winsor Newton. I could just shake this bottle and look at it for days. It's so pretty. I have palette knives. I don't paint with these. I mix paint and I also remove paper from watercolor pads with them. Having a palette knife is really great for that kind of thing, so just a thin one like this is great to have. Speaking of tools that are great to have, hold on. I think that's all of them. I bought 2 sets of silicone, I don't know, shaping tools off of eBay, no, Amazon, to use with masking fluid, because once you're done with masking fluid, you usually ruin the brush, but if you use a silicone tool, you can just peel it off afterwards. They're also great for like glue and stuff like that too, so have a bunch. I have some stray color pencils that don't really fit in anywhere. When I first was trying to find a color pencil that I liked, I tried out the Derwent pencils in like the Color Soft and the Studio. And I found both of these pencils to be really hard, just not a big fan. I ended up with the Polychromos because they were soft, nice to work with. This is probably my favorite pen of them all. It's the Blush Pink. Guess what I use it for? I use it to blush majority of my drawings in my sketchbooks because it's just a great color. It's a really soft, sort of almost peachy pink, and it's just really cute and pretty. You can see I got like pink, yellow, and blue in both series just to have a variety. So those are some odd ones out. Pencil sharpeners. I have one by Cum and one by Faber Castell. This one I like because it has two holes. One where it removes the wood and one where you sharpen the tips. So you can get these really long, skinny tips. This one is just your regular pencil sharpener. I use it for all of my pens as well, actually. We have some erasers. I'm not very particular about my erasers. If it can erase stuff, it's good. This one, it's a kneaded eraser that I keep in a Game Boy Advance cartridge case, just to keep it from getting dusty. I have this Maped Architect's eraser. It has a plastic casing, which is why I liked it. Faber-Castell PVC eraser, or PVC-free eraser, I should say. I have a Staedtler Norris eraser, and this one is from the Green Sister. It looked like this to begin with. So yeah, I've used it quite a bit. I like this. It's a very soft eraser, very soft. I also have this, which is a click eraser by, is it Pennac or Pentel? Pentel. And these are the refills. I also use these refills for my mechanical pencil with the twist up eraser once that runs out. I have these, which are Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pens in clear color. So basically it's just a pen full of glitter that I can paint all over my drawings if I want to, when I want to. This here is a gift from a friend. It's the Koi coloring brush pen in a sort of blushy pink peach corally color. I used it in my sketchbook a lot. I haven't used it a lot recently because I lost it, but now that I found it again, I can put it in my pencil case and get some use out of it again. And then, lastly, oh gosh, these are novelty erasers that I also got as a gift. They're just too cute to use. Here, just all of my refill lead for my color NOs, for my 0.3 Pilot, and there, for my bigger pen with the 0.5. This is not Staedtler, I think it's Faber-Castell or probably Pilot now that I think about it. But I like this container because you can fill it quite a lot and then you sort of, let's see, can I shake it out? There. So you stick this inside the pen and you shake out the lead. That lead didn't break actually, I'm impressed. I was sure it would break when it hit the table, but it's fine. So yeah, those were my sort of extra things and small knickknacks I didn't know where to put category-wise. That was my collection of art supplies as of 2019. Hopefully I can get through that pile of sketchbooks that I had accumulated. That was a thing I didn't want to know about myself. Either way, thank you so much for watching this incredibly long video. It's probably going to be one of the longest videos I've ever posted to this channel. I hope you enjoyed, but I hope you found it useful in some way. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys soon again. Until next time, bye!